Today I wanted to talk about automating in Photoshop and try and do a little tutorial about it. Sometimes you have a lot of tedious tasks or like you want to apply a certain filter to a bunch of different images. Okay, and you could do it manually, but sometimes when you have a lot of images, it makes more sense to create an action. Right, so let's say I just want to make all these images black and white. Okay, so what I can do is I can pull up my actions panel. You can find it under Window, Actions, here. And you want to make sure you're not in button mode, right? So you see buttons, you want to just click here and go here. Okay, and we're going to make, it's kind of like a new, this is our new layer button, right? But we're going to make a new action. And we can give it a name. I guess black and white is fine. We can assign it a key. We can give it a color, right? So I'll give it a green color, like F2. And we'll hit record. Okay, and now everything I do this image will be recorded in this stack. So let's say we'll do black and white. So first thing is we'll go image adjust, black and white right here. Okay, and there's different settings, so let's look for that one. Looks pretty good. Okay, so I hit OK, and see it's added that, it's recorded that with the settings. Okay, then let's say I want to adjust the contrast a little bit. So we'll pull up the curves, and we'll just darken the darks, lighten the lights, just like that. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's do one more thing. We'll do a filter. Let's say we'll just add a little noise. Right, so not a lot, just a little bit. Okay. Okay, and now I want to save it. So I can go. What do I want to do here? I hit save. Those options are good. And then I'll close it. Right there. Boom. Okay, and I'll stop recording. Okay, so now I want to use this action on all these others. I can go back to button mode here, and there's my black and white. Hit F2. Right, so I got Batman here, and I can press the button, and it does it. Then press the button, or I can hit F2, F2, and one more time. So now if I look here, my images, right, now they're all black and white with those settings. Okay, so it's an easy way to accomplish several tasks that you want to do to multiple images. But sometimes you want to do more complex stuff, right? And an action might not cut it. Okay, then you can get pretty advanced with the actions. I mean, you can set breakpoints and stop it and dialogues, and there's a lot on the scripting the actions. But we could take it a step further and actually do some coding to create our own Photoshop script. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to hide my actions here. Okay, so pull up here. If you go to adobe.com/devnet Photoshop scripting, you get your guides. We're going to do a JavaScript one right here. So I've already downloaded it. I can pull it up right here. So in here you can find different objects and methods that work in Photoshop. Okay. And what I've got, so I've made this file, and it is basically characters from the Superman movie. Man of Steel just came out. I was really impressed with the production design of the movie. Particularly, they actually hired a linguist to make a whole language, a Kryptonian language, and the graphic designer to design the glyphs used in this language. And I was thinking making a font or something along those lines. So what I want to do is isolate each character, and make a ping out of it, its own ping. The thing is, I've got a bunch of characters as well as different tops, accents above the characters. Okay, so there's a lot of kind of saving this, right? So that would be kind of a lot of work. Okay, so what I'm going to do is write a script that'll automatically save this as a PNG, hide this layer, turn the next layer on, save that as a PNG, and so on until it finishes. Okay, so you can actually use, it comes with Photoshop or Creative Suite, is something called the Adobe Extension Toolkit. Okay. And it's a little editor, developer, has some hinting, code hinting, things like that. So if I were to start typing something, let's say hopefully, there you go, we've got some options, right? So it has a little bit of code hinting. I actually find this editor to be kind of sluggish, not super helpful, but if you don't have a lot of scripting experience, it's probably a good place to start. I'm just going to use a text editor, essentially. So we're going to close out of that. And what you can do is you can make a new text document. Okay. And we'll call it save PNG. Okay, and then I want to change it from .txt, which is just a text file, to JSX. It'll give me this little warning, but that's okay. And this is my Adobe script file here, the JavaScript file. Okay, so once we've created our script, you could open it with anything, but I'm going to use Sublime Text, which is a good text editor. It's good for HTML, XML, JSON, and JavaScript. Really, any text editing you need, Sublime is pretty awesome. Okay, so all right, first, this isn't necessary, but we're going to do it anyways. I'm just going to let it know that we're targeting Photoshop. Okay, that way we don't, the script probably won't work with Illustrator or something like that. Okay, and we're going to need a couple variables to start. So var, we want reference to the active document. Okay. So if we had multiple documents open in Photoshop, we want the one that's active in focus. Okay, next we want what our current layer is. So we're just going to call that layer. And that one is doc.active layer. All right. Then we want the layer group. Okay, so call that list, or group is fine. Equals layer dot parent dot layers. Okay, so when I say group, you know, we've got this letters group here, and we've got the tops group, right? I want the parent of this guy is here, and I want all the layers in here. Okay, good. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to write a function for saving. We'll just call you save PNG. Okay, and we need another variable. Okay, this one's just called PNG save PNG options. We'll go options. Okay, and what this is a class that defines the different saving options for PNG, so the quality, transparency, that kind of stuff. But since we're not going to alter it, we just want the standard, we're just going to leave that blank, but you still need it. Okay, and then what we want is the export path. Okay, so we're just going to call it the path, and that's going to equal, okay, first we're going to cast it as a file, and then we want the document path, so document dot path plus, okay, so what we're doing here is we're getting the actual path of the document, right? So if I click up here, it's on my desktop in a folder called glyphs. Okay, and then what we're doing is we're going to add the name, right? So we do slash, and now what do we want to call it? Well, we want to call it the layer, all right? The name of the layer. So I want to just get my layer, right? That's the layer that's currently selected, and dot name. Okay, and then we can add the PNG, the file extension. Okay, then finally we can save it. So doc dot save as. Then we want our path, right? So path. Then we want our options. So PNG options true, and we just want to make our extension all lowercase. Okay, so it doesn't give me a capitalized PNG. Right, so that's pretty good, but you know, I have different accents to each letter, right? And as I run it, or as I run it multiple times, it'll overwrite. So if I go through first, it'll go through here, it'll make all these, and it'll call it like BKD, whatever. Then I change this and run it again, it's going to name it BKD and everything else, okay? So that's not exactly what I want. I want to kind of get some names in there. So I have this blank layer here. There's nothing in it, and all I'm using it is the name. Okay, and I'm sure there's probably a better way to do this, but this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, so right now it looks blank, but it's actually a space, the space character. Okay. So the first time I run this, I just want it to be the name of the layer, B, right? But if I change to this, I'm going to change it to like BA or BU or whatever. Okay, so what I need to do is just change the name of this guy to fit what I want. Okay. So bring my So what we're going to do is we'll put in a little if statement here. So if I'm going to get my group, if the first item in the group, and when you're dealing with arrays it's a 0, dot name is equal to the space character, we want, we'll say var str equal to nothing, right? But else we want it to equal var, we'll do like so it'll be like the layer name B, then we'll say dash and then the name of that, so group name. Oh, whoops, gotta do that, right? So we're adding the group name to a dash, and then what we'll do is we'll put it right behind layer name. So right here, we'll just go str. Okay, so now we have the saving function. Okay, let's write another function here. Function, we'll call it switch layer, and we're gonna pass to this layer a number, an index. Okay, so what we have is so what this function is going to do, it's going to take the active layer, make it invisible, select the next layer, and make it visible. Okay, so easy enough, right? So first thing we're going to do is take our layer, right, and make it invisible. So visible false. Right. Next, what we want is the next layer, or rather, make the active layer the next layer down. So active layer equals group, and then we put in the number we passed. Right. So we can pass whatever number we want. It's going to go here. Group I. Okay. Next, we want our layer to be the active layer, right? So doc active layer. And then finally, we want to make that layer visible. True. Okay. So now we've switched the layers. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we'll iterate through all the layers. Okay, so we start where we are and just move down. So we're going to say for var I equals 0. As long as I is less than group dot length, we're going to step forward. Okay, so first thing, the layer we want is already selected, so we're going to say save PNG. Okay, so we're going to save that layer. Then we're going to make sure that we haven't gone too far. Okay, so if we're all the way down on this last layer, let's say, we want to make sure that it doesn't go to the next layer and then save because there's nothing there. Okay, so what we'll do is, let me collapse some menus over here. Okay. So what we're going to do is say if I plus 1 is set greater or equal to group dot length. We're gonna escape this function. Okay. Okay. So we've saved. We want to make sure that we don't go too far. If we're not at the end there though, we're just going to switch our layer. So switch layer, and then what we're going to send in is I plus 1. Right? So we want to go to the next layer. Now I could have done it here, put the I plus 1 here, but we're going to use that function again. Okay. So once it gets to the very end, we're all done. I'm going to go back to the original layer. So switch. We're going to switch layer back to the layer we started on, right? So what will happen is it goes all the way through, comes back to here. Then we want to switch back to this B layer, okay? And it's, so if you start counting, it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So we want to go to the first layer of that group, right? So we just pass in 1, right? And it'll switch it back to there. And then we're going to say alert. We're going to alert ourselves, and we're going to say all done. Okay, so we save it. We come back to Photoshop here. Make sure this layer selected and visible. None of the others are. And then I go File, Scripts. Then you could put the script in the Photoshop install directory. There's a spot for the scripts, but I'm just going to leave it on desktop. Go to Browse, and then hit Save. And we've got an error. What's our error? Does not have a constructor. What is the problem? So PNG options equals new. Oh, a little typo there. Gotta watch out for that. It was PNG save options, not option. So let's try it again. Okay, here we go. It's going through all of them. And it all done. It didn't switch back. Why didn't it switch back? Oh, yet another typo. I'm king of the typos this morning. I didn't get a lot of sleep, I guess. So I didn't call the method. I had a weird thing in there. So it technically worked, but it didn't switch back the way I wanted. So we're going to run it one more time. So here, get rid of all that. All right, so this guy's good. File, Scripts, Browse, run this guy. It's going to go through, yada, 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 yada. There we go. Switch back to B. Let me know it's all done. Awesome. Now, what I'll do is I'll select a different top and change that to A, right? Come back here. And so we've got all these guys right here. We'll go File, Script, Browse, run it. All done. And here we go. We've got the -A, right? Awesome. So -A. Right, and then I can just go through and do all of my tops. So this one would be U. I can run my script again. Whoops, wrong script. One more time just for fun. successfully written a script that'll save out a PNG of my layer. So there's my ZU, ZA, and Z, right? Beautiful. So hopefully that's a little introduction into scripting in Photoshop. You can achieve some pretty interesting stuff. It's really pretty powerful. So, yep, there you go.